This is Spain issue 293, and that is quite exciting. It means we are only 64 issues away from the big 357, and I cannot wait for that one. It's gonna be great. This one, it's the most recent issue, and it's really good. If you didn't read Spain, or you just drop in from time to time, I reckon you should go out and get this comic. It's a solid single issue. It has got an okay cover by Frankie Matthews that is possibly traced or copied from somebody else's works. Todd McFarlane, he is still doing all the writing with the words and that. And the artist is the regular artist for this book. And he doesn't need introductions, but I will do. He's called Jason Alexander. And you all no doubt know him from Seinfeld, where he played George Costanzo. It was in the 90s. It was like a big telly show, very popular. Everybody used to watch it. I am out. That is what they all said in it. Last issue, though, we had another artist who did loads of cheats to get out of having to do full art. And this Seinfeld guy, he does loads of cheats too, but it's quite interesting because he does some different ones. Like, he doesn't do the blurred photos as backgrounds like last issue, but he does do a lot of tracing, I reckon. This woman here, she's quite pretty actually. I didn't think she's meant to be pretty, but there's something sexy about her. I reckon she's meant to be like 40. She's meant to be like a 40-year-old spinster who has got like crabs. You know, pet crabs that she keeps like in a water tank. And pubic lice as well. And she's probably had 9 husbands and smokes about 40 a day. And she's just really desperate for a fella. But despite all that, there's something really sexy about her. I reckon the problem is she's meant to be like a hag. And the artist, he has accidentally traced someone attractive. And we also have got the shadow trick where you use a lot of shadows to cover stuff up to avoid doing detail. And this mouth down here, it isn't art. It is, I think this is 3D modelling. It is very detailed. It's definitely not drawn by hand. It looks like either computer generated 3D graphics or maybe even just a photo of some like horror teeth or something and they've put a little filter on it. It is definitely not drawn by hand. I really like this story though. They're building up to a big war between Evan and Elle, and Spain, he's caught in the middle of it, and we've got this big thing here with Spain, he's gone in public, so that is quite momentous. Then he kills a bloke in a car, and it is a bit graphic, but it is Spain, so it's to be expected. The big set piece of this issue is this angel fella shows up. He is called Angemon, and he has Digivolve from Patamon, and it's a bit of a humorous twist really, because everyone thought that Patamon was like the useless one. He was like a flying hamster, but he has Digivolved into the best one. And Angemon, he's trying to manipulate Spain. And on this next page, right at the top, right there, we have got the biggest pile of shite that this artist is trying to pass off as legitimate artwork. The woman's hand, look at it, it's not even finished. It is just a very broad shape. There's no fingers on it or anything. It is not finished. It's awful. But Angemon, he is trying to convince Spain to side with Evan in the war against El, rather than him just going to war against both of them. But Spain, he's not falling for it, he's having none of it. And the rest of the issue is a really good fight between Spain and Angemon. As I said though, a lot of cheats. They're fighting in a force field dome thing. So that's really just an excuse to not have to draw the backgrounds. I do like this though, this issue. It's a good story. Then he beats Angemon, and in the end, he unmasks to the world as Simon Albertson. So that's like a big game changer, I suppose. I wonder if he will do a deal with Satan to undo this unmasking as well as his marriage, because that is normally how the superheroes get out of it. We've got adverts at the back, and I do really like this, putting the adverts at the back like this. Not having like double page adverts taking you out of the story, or having fucking Young Justice shite just ruining the whole thing for you. This is a Spain trade paperback that they are advertising on the back. This is a good story as well. But I think this issue is fantastic, actually. Really good issue of Spain. This is the first issue of the year. First issue of 2019. And it's a great start. And we're going to be getting issue 300 this year. So it could be a great year for Spain. I'm looking forward to that 300, and I enjoy the book. And with this one and the issue before, I do pick apart and criticise the art. The little cheats, the little tricks that the artists employ, but I really didn't mind it. Tracing, I'm fine with. If it's done well and blatantly not just somebody else's artwork. Like that woman at the start, she was pretty. That was good tracing. And then covering stuff with shadows, that is mostly okay. Especially in a book like this, where the darkness and the shade, it helps the tone. You can argue that it is like stylistic, that it's atmospheric. It really only becomes an issue if it's used very badly. Like in that Defenders issue I reviewed, where there were close-ups of characters' faces, and they were just covered entirely in black shadows. I'm mostly just pointing this stuff out because there was a time when this book had really amazing art. We had Todd McFarlane, we had Greg Batman, we had Mark Stanley Lee, and the art is fine, but it does feel like nobody is really stepping in and saying, you do realise you've not finished drawing that hand. Stuff like that, the little cheats. It was acceptable when it was Todd McFarlane or Mark Stanley Lee, although they rarely did it as extremely as these last two artists. But anyway, I do recommend this though. This is a fantastic issue of Spain. I rate this 7 properly drawn thumbs up.